So today's topic is how to increase value with you working remotely. How to increase value, your value, by you working remotely. So two areas, and I think the second one's going to blow your mind. And this first one is that you need to be a little bit different of a person when you're working remotely than you would be when you're in person. If you're not an extemporaneous person, force yourself to be a little bit more extemporaneous. Literally, maybe hop up and down before you get on a Zoom call, or kind of move your arms around to be able to show a level of enthusiasm, as opposed to sitting somewhere like a stick. Because the more enthusiasm that you can show or that you can emit, the more energy that you can show people during your conversation with them, the more it'll resonate with them. The more that you smile and speak, and speak up, I think the more that you can enjoy the experience. Have fun with virtual backgrounds or not virtual backgrounds, so people are able to enjoy that moment with you, because you are virtual, you are being remote. So if you're not an extemporaneous person or somebody that can kind of do those kinds of things, my advice to you is to try it. I mean, try to be a little bit more, gump, a little more step in your game, or whatever word you want to be using. And you might say, gosh, well, Jimmy, that's easy for you to say because of your personality. You're absolutely right. And I agree with you. It is part of kind of what my DNA is, but I'd love to rub my DNA off on you just a little bit for you to be able to show that a little bit more of enthusiasm when you're in that type of a setting. I know it ain't fun. I know it isn't a fun place to be, but guess what? It's the reality that we're in. And the second one is, and this is fascinating, is that what new skill sets can you bring to the table that you had never untapped before, but you are able to untap them because of the environment they're in? And I have two very specific stories. One is a woman who knew how to sew really well. And during COVID, she started to sew and be really into her sewing. And long story short, she gets a job with Northrop Grumman because of her sewing ability. So they make parachutes. And why not have somebody on your staff that does very good in that level of expertise? So this is, now obviously she sewed before, but she refined her abilities to sewing during COVID, and it got her the job. So reality, it worked. And the second one is actually more on the personal side. Some really good friends of ours that we've known for years. And we hung out together, spent years together, and just had really great times together. They invited us over for dinner after we got our haircut. So we got our haircut and we went over to their place, and they said, we're going to make roasted chicken and vegetables. Unbeknownst to us, the husband of the husband and wife had been taking classes through Thomas Keller online, and he was learning how to become a chef at home. And that might have been the best chicken I've ever had in my life. It was absolutely fantastic. I don't want his head to swell. Obviously, he's going to see the video now. But it was unbelievable to see how that untapped skill that he didn't have before, and he got because of COVID. So my advice is just to you is A, be more extemporaneous in these type of settings, show a little bit more enthusiasm. And number two, learn a new skill, or let's tap a skill that you may not have known that you had before. And when you tap that new skill, it will make you feel better in the environment that you're in, to make other people happier, based upon obviously the cooking that we had with our one friend, and then the gal that got the job solely because of her refining her skill with sewing. So make the best of it when you're involved in it, and think about what that new skill could be. And I'm anxious to hear everybody's thoughts. Have a super week.